All right. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Mr. Air.
What?
Oh, it's going to be that kind of
It's
meeting.
going to be that kind of night?
Here.
All right. Mr. Bartlett.
Here.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Here.
Dr. Lewis.
Here.
Mr. Van Stone.
Here.
Mr. York.
Here.
I miss getting called on.
Okay, everybody had a chance to look at the minutes? Any questions regarding the minutes? No? A motion and a second to accept.
So move.
Second.
Mr. Air.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, we'll accept those minutes. All right, in communications, Ben, we have your report. Anything to add? Or are there any questions for Ben regarding the report? No?
Good job getting the hydrants painted.
Also, I want to mention that on the 4th itself, we had a number of limbs down in the village. And I was able to reach some of our guys, and they really came forward and did some cleanup on the 4th. So for that, I thank them for that work.
Hey, that's awesome.
All right, Chuck, Mr. Barlow, any questions regarding the tax administrator's report? Anything to add? Money's just rolling in, right?
Yeah, actually, it's a good year so far. It's looking weird. It's a weird thing. It's like with statistics, we're about 18,000 ahead at the halfway point this year than we were last year as far as being up, our numbers up, so. But it's the same thing. We want to be up as much as we can at the halfway point and then hold on. We're gonna get another bump in October. Actually, some of the extensions are starting to roll in now.
Yeah.
Starting to kind of trickle in, so.
Okay, okay.
And so, I mean, I heard a little bit off the record there, but can you speak to what trends you're seeing?
Well, the biggest one, if you look at some of the numbers, we are up very, very big in net profit compared to last year. I can't go into too much in depth because I can't give away information, but its net profit is where all the up is right now. Everything else is basically the same, or everything's running up, but the big jump is in the net profits. So I'm hoping, I can share before the meeting. I'm hoping that is going to be a continued source going forward. I won't know until probably October, November, have an idea. This could be just a 1 year, great year for a company or two, or it may be, it's a new trend. So we'll see. Hope no one can glean anything from that. So.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Anything else? Any other questions?
Yeah,
No?
all right.
Good.
Thank you.
All right. All right. All right, we have Mr. Holloway's report. The building administrator, Rod, is not with us here tonight for some reason. Any questions regarding Rod's report? If you do, you can always email, call, text, stop by the office.
Stop
We're
by
always
his
here in the-
house.
We're always here in the morning. All right. We have a spending request from the fire department. Is Dan's not here tonight. This is for the, to update, to update the radios on the Quint. And this will be this update for those radios for this year, and then I think there's another one that would be coming next year. Any questions regarding this? Do I know what this is?
Chief has talked about it before.
Yeah, and I think, Kelly, are we using, for this, I think we're using some of the money that we got from Goshen when we helped there. So to offset that, so. it's something that we have to do, so.
I mean, it's required by the county. or something.
Yeah, and there's some coming on the police side too.
But somehow we're splitting it in half like this, we're going.
Yeah, we're not doing them all
All
at
at
once, right.
Right, because we have to do the pumper and the safety vehicle.
Unit.
I don't.
Headphones. He wants to be.
With a traditional jack. Sorry. I'm just gonna leave the door open so I can hear you guys. My
Okay.
headphones aren't working.
Okay. No
All
worries.
right.
Thank you.
Do I need a motion on this, don't I?
Yes, please.
All right, so then on the spending request, we need a motion in a second.
So moved. Second.
Mr. Air.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
And Mr. York.
Aye.
All right. Buy some radios. All right, at this time, we're going to take a little bit moment here. We're going to do it during permission to address council, but I want to give a special recognition and thank you to the MPF people for their donation they made for our fireworks. Y'all want to come up? Let's get a
Photo op?
photo op? Yes, absolutely.
Oh, you have
I
a
know.
novelty checks.
Isn't that great?
Yeah. Get Dan Brown in that picture.
Who posts?
One more, just for.
That's
I have a copy of the official check here. Told me to hold it for a month, but we.
I think you should try to catch.
You gotta take that, sign it back and take that one into the bank.
Yeah,
Just,
take it now.
for kicks.
Makes it.
Thank you, MPF.
Thank you
you.
very much.
Well, also, while I'm thanking people for, they were not the only, they were our largest contributor. And yes, of course, we want to give them an extra big thank you, but we did have other individual contributors that contributed to the fireworks this year. And that so helps us to make it possible because it is an expensive show, even if you have to put it on in the rain occasionally. And it does seem to go up every year, so, keeping the contributions coming is going to help us sustain that event, for Mariemont. And they wrote me a very nice letter here, which I'm going to read. The mission of the Mariemont Preservation Foundation, MPF, is to preserve, protect, and promote integrity, character, and the character of Mariemont. The MPF Board of Trustees feels that the annual 4th of July fireworks event is a wonderful example of the nature of the unique character of Mariemont. I couldn't agree more. It brings families together in Dogwood Park on a summer evening for a uniquely American and Mariemont tradition. The board feels that Mary Emery would be very pleased to know that the village holds this event and MPF is supporting her vision for this village. The Village Council of Mariemont deserves our thanks for all the work that it has done to make the fireworks display happen every year. On June the 27th, 2024, MPF Board of Trustees approved the motion to donate $4,000 to the village to help defray the cost of the 4th of July fireworks event. On behalf of MPF, the check in the amount is enclosed. We hope the council will continue to do all the things that are necessary for this event each year, and MPF looks forward to supporting it every year. And again, I can't thank you guys enough. It's
fantastic.
So fantastic. All right, we'll read that into the minutes.
Thank you.
There you go. And I also, before I forget, I want to give Chief Copeland and a couple of our fire guys a little extra thank you as well. They drove all the way over to Indiana to pick up the fireworks, saving us, I forget the exact amount, but it was
About $1,300.
$1,300 or something like that by going over to get them. So our guys did that as well. And of course, they stood out in the rain and protected them, and we were able to get the show off at the last minute.
That was the fastest dang fireworks I ever seen.
It was kind of exciting. Well, actually, I mean, it was a very good show. I mean,
It really was. Yeah.
You know, all things considered, getting it off, it was a very good show.
Yep.
I'm very pleased. So, all right, thank you all. All right, we're still permission to address council. Do we have any other folks who would like to get up and say a few things? I know you do.
I always have something to say. So my name's Mandy B. Croft from the library, from the Mariemont Branch Library. So I've pretty much talked to you about most of the programs we have going on this summer. What I have to add is coming up at the beginning of August. So we're going to start twice a month. We're going to have STEM Discovery Days, and that's particularly for grades 2 through 8. And we're partnering with a group of high school students, actually from Indian Hill. So they're a group called SEEK, S-E-E-K. I'll be honest, I don't know what that stands for, but they kind of take part in this mentoring program to help young kids. So they're going to be coming in. It's going to be a big group of high schoolers, going to be working with all of these young grade school students to teach them all sorts of STEM activities, and they'll have stations set up and everything. So we're really excited about that because I think
Now,
kids
that will
learning
start in
from.
the 1st of August, you said?
Yeah,
Yes.
so August 6th is the kickoff for that one, and then it'll be twice a month from there. And then on August 7th, which is just the next day, our children's librarians are putting on a Disney-themed escape room. So again, a lot of math and science kind of incorporated in there, some mystery solving, and that is for grades 4 and up. And that's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Always good to hear what's going on at the library.
It is. I like it.
Anyone else? No? No? All right. All right, any question regarding the bills? Kind of straightforward, this council, I believe. Questions? Questions? No questions? Not hearing any questions? All right. Motion and a second to pay the bills.
So moved. Second.
All right, Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, pay the bills. All right, Rob, it looks like possibly you're the only committee report up, correct?
I believe so.
Yes? You want to read it for us?
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I'm just taking notes here. Okay, the Finance Committee met on Monday, July 1st, 2024 at 4 p.m. to discuss the 5-year capital forecast that was submitted from each of the departments for the village. Present at the meeting were Finance Committee members Rob Bartlett, Marcy Lewis, and Bob Van Stone, Mayor Bill Brown, Fiscal Officer Kelly Rankin, Police Chief Rick Hines, Lieutenant Nick Pitsley, Assistant Fire Chief Dan Copeland, Village Engineer Chris Ertl, and Councilmember Randy York. The purpose of the meeting was to review all of the inputs to the village's 5-year capital forecast from 2024 to 2029. Attached is a summary of the inputs for each of the funds. The goal for the funds is to maintain a fund balance equal to at least 70% of the expected revenue in order for work to be able to commence at the beginning of the year if necessary. The target balance for each fund is at the bottom left-hand corner of the sheet. The sheet is also color coordinated with a key in the bottom left-hand corner. Key takeaways for each fund were as follows. Permanent Improvement Fund, all, which is fund number 4901, the balance never falls below the target. However, we did not receive any numbers for the maintenance department, so if we can get those folded in. Once those numbers are available, some decisions may need to be made. Permanent Improvement Fund Limited, 4902, this fund balance goes below its target in 2024, 2027, 2028, and 2029. In some cases, the reason for the number dropping below the target balance is because of the recent request from the tree board to increase spending on new trees from $10,000 a year to $38,500 a year. Furthermore, this request does not include all of the other operational costs that the tree board has recommended. The Finance Committee recommends that a more holistic analysis be done of the tree board's proposal to better understand how our resources across all of our areas match up with the request. In an effort to address the lower balance in 2027, we will be looking for grant money to help with the stormwater pipes near 6904 Murray Avenue, and the fire department is assessing if they can delay the remounting of the ambulance to 2030, which would also help address the lower balance in 2028. Street funds 2011 and 2101, the balance never drops below target. However, there could be a challenge in managing the cash balance during the year, as the village will need to front the money for many of these projects and then wait 30 to 60 days to get reimbursed from some of the grants. The Finance Committee recommends the fiscal officer Rankin do an analysis to ensure we have enough money in all of the funds to cover the proposed work and the lag time to get reimbursed. For perspective, from 2025 to 2026, the village will be reimbursed in excess of $1.4 million from various grants. One alternative would be to advance money from the general fund, but the advance needs to be paid back within the same calendar year, and we could be limited in how much we can advance from the general fund in any given year. Dogwood Park Project 4903. This fund does not have a target balance other than to stay positive, as once the project is completed, this fund will be closed out. Here again, the challenge will be managing cash flow, as a large portion of the funds are from grants where the village has to pay the cost upfront and be reimbursed 30 to 60 days later. However, private funds and Emory Foundation money currently held by MPF will help to cover some of those upfront costs. Based on all the inputs provided to date, the Finance Committee does not see any insurmountable issues in the 5-year capital forecast. However, as mentioned, we have not received any numbers from the Maintenance Department yet. Also, because of the potential issues associated with when the village spends the money and when it gets reimbursed, we believe the fiscal officer should do an in-depth analysis of the cash flow in each fund during the year. And the committee also recommends a more holistic analysis be done of the tree board request to ensure we have the necessary resources across all areas of the villages, both manpower and money, and within the operational and the capital budgets. Respectively submitted, Rob Bartlett, Marcy Lewis, and Bob Van Stel.
All right, you've heard the report. Any questions regarding? Rob, I will say that Rob did a great deal of work preparing some of the initial data that went into this, and I do want to give you, good job, Rob.
Good job, Rob.
Uh,
Job, Rob.
I mean, are there any questions? I know you've all kind of seen the data sheet, so on and so forth.
No, I want to echo, it's very thorough, and I really appreciate the work Rob put into it and his committee.
And Kelly.
Well, Kelly, yeah.
Well, she was around.
I was keeping a chair warm.
All right, then a motion and a second to accept.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Ms. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
And Mr. York.
Aye.
All right.
Is this coming off, or are you wanting to keep this?
No, I think we can come off, and I saw that Public Works already has the tree board analysis is already in the agenda for that, so.
I'm going to hold a meeting in the near future
Yeah, yeah.
about the tree.
So we don't need to, it's already officially in your committee, which is
Yes.
great.
Right.
And then Kelly will do that analysis of the actual cash flow. I guess that would go on the project list then? Bill, you think that would?
We could, yes.
Yeah, just make that.
So, Rob, do we need to, given some maintenance input and this tree board input, do we need to reevaluate and?
Well, one of the things that that we talked about was actually having a committee of the whole discussion about priorities. And so, because, the finance committee, we can do some analysis, but all of council needs to weigh in on the priorities across those capital projects. So, I think, Bill, we wanted to put that into committee of the whole also, is that whole prioritization of the capital spending, so. I think that would be the next step.
So get those
Once we get
inputs and
Ben's.
then have a committee of the whole meeting.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But
to
we're-
decide priorities.
We
Yeah.
might have to have another finance committee to as Rod pointed out, to rejigger the 5-year plan.
I think once we get Ben's numbers, we can just put them in, and then I think we can have the conversation about.
All right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, yeah.
It's more than a tree board, it's also Ben's numbers.
Yeah,
and-
but I don't think we have to have a finance committee meeting all we're gonna do is put the numbers in and bring it forward for the committee of the whole to go ahead and look at it and
Okay.
make it a priority call. Because the sooner we can get it in front of the committee of the whole, I think that would be better, just to have that conversation.
I'll send out an email looking for dates where people can get together for a committee of the whole meeting. And we will be on vacation for the next council meeting, so I'm thinking probably the end of the month or early August. So I'll send that out if everybody can reply fairly quickly, and we can figure out a time we can all get together.
I'll be out of town the first full week of August.
First full week.
Chris, I have a question. On SORTA, your experience with SORTA, is it a 60, 90-day reimbursement in your experience?
This is City of Cincinnati, so I think it's gonna be 30.
30, okay,
But
great.
We haven't, Mariemont hasn't done this yet.
Right.
So we'll see if, hopefully it's the same thing.
Do we get terms from our contractors? Do we get 30-day terms typically? Okay,
That's dictated in the pre-con, yeah.
Right.
So every time I told them, we basically, you work for
So we want to get invoices as we go rather than a huge invoice
Sure.
at some point in time.
What was the experience last year when you repaved, was it sort of used on Hiawatha?
No, that was not.
Andy's up.
No, it's the first time.
No, that
Yeah,
was
this
the
is-
Ohio Public Works Commission. It was a different type of grant where they paid the contractor directly.
Oh, okay.
So it's different. This is our first year with
So,
SORTA.
yeah, because we just start that loan beginning of this year, I think.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Do we typically, in our construction contracts, put 30-day terms?
So when you say 30-day terms, you're saying, once they invoice us, then we have
not
30 days?
We have 30 days
to
to
pay.
right.
That's industry standard, so we haven't done anything to change that. So,
It's not 3%, not 10. But
In terms of prioritization, and I don't recall last year, is there a way for us as part of the conversation with the committee as a whole, to hear what the administration and mayor you think are the priorities to inform?
Well,
That
I'll
conversation?
be at the meeting,
Oh, of course.
participating, of course.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but.
You mean
that-
you want something in advance?
Well, I don't know. I feel like, do we have a means for the administration to inform the priorities as well, right? Because you guys see
Live
it.
this,
Yeah, so
Well-
as part of the, where is that feedback and input and as part of the conversation?
Yeah, because I think, because Bill's in the best spot in terms of looking across departments and saying, okay, what's the highest
Yep.
priority within the village? So, yeah, I think that would be valuable input.
Well, look, it's gonna be an interesting discussion and an interesting exercise to have. Because, we're all gonna have different ideas about, how to rank priorities and so forth. So I think, hence why we need to have this discussion and get this discussion started. In fact, we may not even be able to, come away from that first meeting, with an agreement. I don't know. But I do know this, it's important to start the discussion about this because we have so many projects that we're, either in the middle of, on the cusp of, or considering, and this stuff should be ranked. That's all.
Well, and managed from a cash flow standpoint as well, if they're grants, because that is a concern.
Yeah. But,
So I guess I'm just, as part of that conversation, wanting to understand what the administration thinks regarding the priorities, because it would inform.
you would actually,
I've never
Consider
seen Bill
that.
be bashful yet.
Well, now,
Him sitting at the top would have the best.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
weigh-
But I would say that as part of that conversation, I am very interested in that input.
don't fall out of your seat over there.
so, but just to clarify, when you say administration, you obviously mean the mayor, but Joni and Allison and
Everybody doing the work, right, who sees it every day.
Ben.
Yeah,
And so you guys know
okay.
some of what the needs are and where the status of things really is.
Sure.
And so, for me, that would help inform my priorities to have that input.
Okay.
That-
Yeah, well, maybe we can talk before.
Yeah, or, I mean, I think bringing that forward, and it's fine coming through you or however, I mean,
Okay.
you are also
Sure.
there every day,
Yeah.
so.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Any other thoughts on that? I think while we're kind of at this, Randy, are we done with the roof repair and repainting over at Nolan? I was over there today. Painting is good.
Yes, that can come off.
That can come off. And then what was your email about the concourse? Do you don't have that, do you?
No, it's here.
It is?
what
I'm
is
not seeing
it? The,
Plan time down for restoration, observation of
Oh,
Concourse
okay.
Park.
Well, that doesn't really need to be in your committee either, per
Right.
se.
The plan timetable.
Whose committee would it be in then?
restoration.
Or is it-
Why is it in committee? I'm running the whole thing.
Okay, so it's just on the project list instead.
Yeah, it's on the project list, yeah. And I think I'm down there as the point anyway, so.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll take those two things off.
And Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, we could take off from Public Works, street rehabilitation because Patriot Park is down here listed separately.
Okay.
So when it says Patriots Park, I was actually wondering, when it says Patriots Park rehabilit, that's the road, right?
Yeah.
Because I was, when it say park, I was thinking, wait,
No,
we're
we're
doing some
not.
other stuff?
We're just talking about the road.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Johnny, can you say Patriots Lane?
Yes.
Thanks.
Patriots Lane repaving or whatever.
Any other comments about assignments and so on and so forth?
And then the strategic tree removal at the concourse,
Uh-huh.
we had approved the health and recreation plan to have
Yes.
Johnny do that, the ones that are threatening the structure.
And Rod is arranging with Shawnee to get a date.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let's wait till it's executed and we can take it.
We can do,
Okay.
yeah. It's just a question of sort of getting a time slot.
Executed is fatal.
So Shawnee is doing an analysis if there's trees, because like the ones that have the ribbons on them, is that what they're?
No, these are, so there are 4 trees maybe that are hanging over the structure.
Okay.
Or threatening the structure.
Well,
so-
one is dead though, and I mean, that's,
Can't we just push it over?
well, it's kind of big, so. but
Bunch of
yeah,
us?
That's what we're talking about. And we're not touching the tree of heaven trees now, because those have to be poisoned apparently before they're cut, even though apparently they have had one application.
They look dead.
They
I don't- I
they
haven't talked
look
to
like
Steve.
they're dying,
Yeah,
so,
which is great.
So
which is great, yeah. So we're kind of
Poison
working
in
on
the
that as
ground?
well.
Is that what we're doing?
All right. And then, and Randy made us aware today, he sent us that email around about the Hamilton County storefront grant. Am I calling it right, Randy, by the right name?
Streetscape.
Streetscape grant. Who's going to be looking into, I mean, who's going to take charge of this?
Well, what is it specifically for? Street, like,
There's a number of sidewalks, streets. It's about, the emphasis is to make a more attractive storefront and streetscape.
okay.
It's up to $50,000.
There's a lot of terms and conditions and so on and so forth, but I think, in fact, Mr. Vanstone made a really, I thought, excellent suggestion that we possibly could use it for the awnings on the buildings over in the Old Town Square. I mean, that would be an example of something that may or may not be able to be looked into. But again, there's a deadline on this, right? I mean,
Yeah, it's not that rigorous. There's a brief that's essentially a brief that's due by August 1st.
August 1st?
August 1st.
well,
Does
that's,
this come from the I didn't look the details. Does this come from the business or does this come from the village?
Well, we are advocates for our businesses, essentially. We act as advocates. We do,
yeah.
part of it is to get, Spinneweber Builders, yes, I want to do this.
And want to do this, and you sort of need an estimate, you need a sort of a budget as to what you're actually talking about doing here. That's why I'm saying somebody needs to shepherd this.
I did send that along to the chamber. I've not heard back from them.
good
To
call.
see if they have any ideas.
Okay.
It's just interesting how these keep coming.
Yeah, they kind of keep coming, but this one is coming kind of quick here.
Do we
and
know if it's 100% grant or if it's a matching grant?
This is 100%.
Okay. Well, so do you want to wait until we hear from the chamber and then we'll,
Do you want to have a conversation with Bill?
I could, sure, of course.
But I think that's great. But to your point earlier, Bill, can we assign somebody as a point person then, who's gonna come back to the council and say, okay, here's what we found, do you wanna apply for this or
But-
not?
Is there time to come back to the
Well, they said
council?
August 1st is when you have to apply, that's a deadline.
Yeah.
So that's,
So I don't know if we have time to
Yeah,
sort
I
of
would
stick it
think,
into a committee necessarily.
From a structural
I know that's,
standpoint.
I'm trying to avoid that. I'm trying to get somebody to volunteer to sort of be the point person here.
And Randy's not.
Well,
catching
Ran-
hands.
he's not,
not
boy,
getting hands,
he's not biting, is he?
No, I can,
It's not
look, I
biting.
can do, I've worked with them before, it's a pretty standard
Maybe a public contract on a
agreement
separate basis.
or application.
Okay.
It's not that rigorous.
We
Well,
want,
You may not be able to pull anything together.
Right,
I
right.
think Bob's idea of the awnings is a great idea.
The two of us, if you need me, we'll go around and we can talk to some of these guys.
Let's see what the chamber says. I think Mr. Spinnenweber might,
Yeah.
you and I had talked about some stuff that he wanted to do that may fit.
This might fit. I know, it may fit. Yeah, okay.
Okay, so Randy, your point, right?
All right.
We agreed on that.
Well, I'm your backup.
2 points.
Yeah. All right, so
Okay.
I believe that covers all the assignments within the committees for the time being.
Bill, Randy asked me.
Oh, here we go. I guess I didn't get it all.
No, this will be a quick one.
Sure.
Randy asked me if I'd take the repair, replace boathouse roof and move it into safety since I've been working on it for a year. And I said I could. I don't really want, but I could do that. And as an update, I'm still waiting to find out the comments that we got on our grant application that we did not get, and we were supposed to get those in April, then we were supposed to get them in May, we were supposed to get them in June, now we're supposed to get them in July, and the application's due September 2nd if we were to renew on that. So I want to see what the comments are to see if we have a shot. If we have a shot, then I'm going to improve the application and shoot for it again. If not, then we'll have to talk about priorities at the committee of the whole meeting.
It's in the
Yeah,
5-year. It's in
right.
the 5-year.
Yeah, it is there, and, you know, I did have that meeting with HKC Roofing, you know, over there to try and get another bid on that roof.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard back yet, because, you know, it's one of those things, they take one look at that roof and just
I know.
scratch their
Well,
heads.
the owner told me he wouldn't bid on it
Yeah,
before.
yeah,
so-
well, they kind of have some
Yeah.
new guys over there
Yep.
now, and maybe they've gone back to the higher-ups and been told that,
Yep.
I don't know. But we could follow up on that. And if you wish to be the guy that's gonna follow up on that, I'm,
Yeah,
So,
I
well, I
can
think
do
it's
that.
like, let's officially move it into the safety.
yeah,
That's
okay.
fine with me.
All right, all right. Consider it moved. All right, moving on. Miscellaneous. Apparently, we have nothing in miscellaneous. I don't know how that's possible.
We will next time.
All right, I'll make up for it next week, in 2 weeks. All right, resolutions.
Okay, this is the third reading to authorize Ohio Department of Transportation to proceed with the Columbia Connector Project PID number 114496, County Route Section, Ham Columbia Connector, and to enter into contract.
All right, everyone knows what this is. This is the third reading. I need a motion and a second to proceed.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right.
Okay, this is the third reading to authorize contracting with Columbia Township to share expense to rehabilitate Grove Avenue.
Okay, we all know what this is. Motion and a second to move forward.
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Ayer.
Aye.
Mr. Bartlett.
Aye.
Mrs. Brown Knight.
Aye.
Dr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Van Stone.
Aye.
Mr. York.
Aye.
All right, this is the second reading to authorize the solicitation of bids for the Dogwood Park Centennial Rehabilitation.
All right, this is the second reading. Any thoughts, any discussion here? Randy, any comments, or?
I did get something from Kaylee today. We had worked a little, we reworking the baseball fields a little bit. So that's been completed, so, you know, by the time we have our third reading, Chris will be ready. Yeah.
I have two, I'll say caveats. I mean,
Sure.
we've had them before, or I've heard them in other committees before. Just if we go off for bid, and I know Rod and Chris have worked to phase it, but this has to be contingent upon whatever plan Kelly comes up with for cash flow.
Kelly and others.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
but-
yeah,
But getting bids is to analyze what contract will do, not necessarily enter into an agreement with a contract.
but the point is, I just don't want to say that because we went out for bids, we're pressured to accept the bids because there's all this grant money sitting there if we can't do the cash flow right, that's all. So we may, in our hearts, we may want to accept the bids, but may not be able to.
Yeah, well, we're very cognizant of the funding.
Well, I
Yeah.
just want to make sure all the people at the table understood that.
Yeah, but I think we'll get fast reimbursement from MPF. I don't think they're gonna sit there and have to we'll do any arm twisting since they've got a significant.
I've had a conversation with Biff. It's my understanding you guys don't have an executive meeting in July. So we'll put together the grant letter and send it to you. And we've been engaged this whole time, so we're not disconnected on the amounts. I mean, I think maybe $10,000 apart, but
Yeah, but so to your point, Bob, though, that's the initial funds that go in there.
I understand this whole thing, but that's a small fraction of
We
the
will have-
$1.4 million. That's all
so we will have a $500,000 head start. That's how much.
And
Approximately how much cash.
And then you could sit there
this
and
account will
you
have.
can go get reimbursement for that.
And we have a half,
So you
the
get the
first
money
half
back.
a million gets
Well-
reimbursed. And we can go back 18 months on planning with the Land and Water Conservation Grant.
So I think it's a reasonable expectation that when we do award the project, is that we all see a cash flow
Yep, yep.
diagram.
Oh, yeah.
That everybody's in agreement
I-
with, and that's.
I'm
and we're
I
good.
totally
Good.
agree with that.
Yeah.
I just,
Yep,
I-
I think you're right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to bring the subject up and make sure we are all aware of that.
Yeah, I
The
think
other,
that's,
and this isn't related just to this project, but we are adding a significant amount of walkways, sidewalks, multi-use paths in Mariemont. And my concern is to support all that, we may have to add another person in the service department. So I'd like to get a evaluation of what our annual maintenance cost is gonna be for new infrastructure. Or maybe even include the Murray Path, I don't know. But I think we should ask Ben to put a number together. Because if we're gonna have to add another person in the service department, we need to start budgeting that now. I don't wanna be caught late saying, oh, we now suddenly have to, send this much to the service department budget, which wasn't in the plans.
it's a good point.
Ben, are you comfortable with putting something like that together?
Yes. I will need some help.
I can help
I'm good
you
at
with-
working. Anything in the village, numbers is not my strong suit.
Well,
So,
Johnny can
um,
help,
I can help
I
you with
can
the
help you.
personnel.
I'll be glad to help.
Okay.
Yes.
Did you just offer to shovel sidewalks? That's what I thought I heard.
Yeah,
We don't-
everyone
we
but
don't-
yours.
I don't have one.
No windows, no shoveling.
Touche.
So I think what Bob is saying, basically, we all agree that we want to have an understandable pathway of how we're going to handle this reimbursement aspect of these grants.
Yep.
And that, I think that's very
Yeah.
reasonable, and we all agree with that, right?
Yeah, we have to look at all of them. We
Yeah.
have to look at Murray Path, we have to look at Sorta, because I'm not worried about, and you can see this, I'm not worried about the cash flow on Dogwood. Am I worried about the cash flow on Dogwood and Sorta and the pool and Murray Path happening essentially concurrently?
Combined.
That could be a challenge.
That could be a challenge. Yeah. All right, just so we all, I think we all agree, okay. Well, that was the second reading, we will have the third reading next council. And this brings us to the conclusion.
I did have one question.
Oh, there it is.
On sending for the bids, that, when you work on that, Chris, are there some special things that you need to put into the bid package for?
What
to
bid
address
package are
federal
you-
requirements? Bid package for Dogwood Park.
Thank you.
It's gonna be a little bit different because we got Land and Water Conservation Fund. and
Yep.
federal
So it's
requirements.
definitely prevailing wage.
And I think there's some differences in federal.
So the
requirements.
Land and Water Conservation is from ODNR, so it should be bid the same way we did Murray Path and Mariemont Connector. So federal, I don't think has anything to do with it, it's just state,
Okay,
so.
Well, but I thought it was federal money, it's just being
it's
handled.
federal money that comes to ODNR.
Well, but as far as additional requirements needed to go out to bid,
There
I
wouldn't be any.
don't need any. It's just the
Okay.
prevailing wage from the county, because that's state, but, and reimbursement, so. I'll be happy to go through it again, but yeah, I don't have
Okay.
any.
Yeah, just, that sounds good. If you've checked it, I just wanted to make sure, because I know we just have all these different bundles of money coming, and they all have their own strings. I want to make sure we've checked them all.
Understood.
All right,
Okay.
we're adjourned.
What?
Man, that was late.